So greetings, my friend. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt Schifferly with another video to help you get stronger with the efficiency and power of progressive calisthenics. And today we're looking at the humble plank. I don't know if it's a algorithm thing going on in my social feeds or whatever, but it sure seems like the plank is catching a lot of shade these days. People are like, planks are worthless, planks are terrible, don't do planks, which is really crazy because the plank can be, or at least should be, one of the safest, most efficient, and most effective core exercises you can possibly throw into your routine. But nonetheless, I do understand that some of the influencers out there who are griping about the plank have their points, but usually it's not because they don't like the plank. It's because they don't like the common ways it's executed with the technique, the way it's programmed, and the way it fits into a routine. So today I'm going to show you the 3 ways you can fix these major hurdles to make the plank effective as it should be. So the first step is in technical execution. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I find people make with the plank is they keep treating it as a core exercise for the abs. And you might be thinking, well, isn't it a core exercise? And the answer is yes, but it also is supposed to be much more than that. And the more you mentally are trying to focus on your abs or isolate them even, the more you're going to be throwing out a lot of additional benefit. And the reason for this is when you do a technique on the plank, it is an isometric typically, but it's not just isometric for the abs. Your back, your hips, and even your legs should very much play a role in how you do this. So when you do a plank, it's important to set up either on your hands or your elbows. First and foremost, pulling the shoulders down and back to engage your lats, get everything working really hard. From there, engage both your abs and your glutes to create a posterior pelvic tilt, hollow body if you will. Okay, a little bit of an arch, so now my abs and my glutes are working hard. Your glutes and your abs like to work together. And then when I get into my plank, I'm tightening up my quads, all the while trying to squeeze the floor downwards with my back muscles. Not only does that provide a lot more stability in the exercise, because if you start sagging and you're starting to feel a lot of like tension in your lower back, it means you've lost your supportive abdominal tension. You're not getting anything more really out of the exercise. Time to stop it. Doesn't matter if you're like, but I can hold it another minute. Why bother? It's a waste of junk volume. So instead, set the tension in the back, glutes and abs, quads, and then you have a much better plank technique to make it safer and more effective. The second big mistake is in programming and execution of the plank. And like many calisthenics exercises, many people who do this exercise focus more on endurance and stamina rather than actually building brute strength. And that's because the standard plank, if you will, is a relatively easy exercise. People are just down here and they're like, all right, watching the clock tick down, kind of boring, kind of dull, scrolling through social media. I've even seen devices and stuff out there on how to pass the time while you're doing planks. And the answer for this is don't make it more interesting by trying to use some sort of an app. Make it a lot harder. And for a basic plank, there's several ways you can do this. The most basic of which is you elongate your body. Use leverage. So it's easier to do on your hands, but you can do it on your elbows too. You can get tension set and you stretch yourself out, which will quickly add resistance and intensity to the exercise until you're done. My general rule of thumb is if you can hold it fairly comfortably with only modest effort for 30 seconds or longer, it's too easy. It needs to be harder. Make it harder on yourself. So stretch yourself on out and make it a lot more intense, which will make it more effective, especially for core strength. The other thing you can do is have more of a narrow hand position or even remove a leg or a hand from what you're doing and go for like 5-10 seconds with one limb up, which will reduce stability, therefore require more work in your core, hips, and even your back. Also, I forgot to mention, make sure you're breathing while you're holding your planks. If you're using so much resistance that your breathing gets tight, make it a little bit easier so that's not the case. But the other thing that I highly recommend is to use a suspended or even a slightly dynamic plank variation. Remember, calisthenics is when we think of doing an exercise one way, which in the calisthenics world is kind of like only lifting one weight. Like, dumbbell curls with 20 pounds, never more, never less. It's really hard to make progress that way. So when you give yourself more progressive variations, that's giving you like a wider range of weights that you can use on a dumbbell rack. And when we're suspending our feet, we remove stability while also giving us the ability to dynamically adjust resistance many different ways. For example, we have the basic saw plank, back and forth, where you're momentarily adding resistance when you shift back. This can be also a little bit easier on the mind if you get tired of just trying to count down seconds or watch a clock tick down. You can also implement some sort of knee tuck or stretching variation with your arms. And what that does is makes it more dynamic for the hips, but I'm still isometric with my core. You can keep your hips stable, or you can lift them up, whichever you prefer. So even though I'm still embracing the isometric stability nature of my core, I'm using everything with movement, and you can even involve your back with that as well, as we do with grind style calisthenics, which makes it a very difficult plank variation that'll really challenge your abs to a much higher degree. So at the end of the day, there's no reason or excuse for bad plank form, bad plank programming, or bad plank execution. Program it like you would with any other type of muscle group, usually a couple times a week, working to a high degree of tension, muscular burnout if you're trying to build up that muscle, challenging the work capacity of your abs, and most importantly, recognize the range of influence that these core exercises actually give you. Because like all exercises, plank exercises are really good at making you good at planks. And that's about all they're going to give you. They will make your core stronger, but that has only a small influence on things like your performance and your aesthetics. And will it give you six-pack abs? Maybe, depending on a whole bunch of things like genetics and of course body fat levels, which are a whole nother topic entirely. But planks will do almost nothing for belly fat like any other core exercises that you do. But nonetheless, I gave you a micro workout down below in the description if you want to get a quick little core and plank style workout that you can do at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of your classic calisthenic strength workouts, or if you just want something to get a nice little burn in your abs, because it is a very satisfying, rewarding feeling. Best of luck in your workouts this week. Till then, be fit and live free.